Make the most out of your time at work
with Karen Gately,
leadership and people management specialist.
Karen, a week ago, we were going to be talking about women in the workplace today. It was going to be simple, it was going to be fun, and then the world went to hell in a handbasket. Good morning.
Good morning. And we all ran out of loo paper.
Yeah, we did.
It really is a different scenario to one we planned. You are correct.
All right, so a lot of people right now, they're trying to process like tons and tons of information that's coming in from the media. But let's keep things as simple as possible today. There's a lot of concerns, I suppose, about the fact that, let's say, sweeping changes get brought into workplaces because of the coronavirus. What does that mean for individual employees?
Yeah, look, I think obviously it's going to be very different depending on the circumstances. So, if we're working in an office environment, we're computer-based, the chances are that, there's probably a lot of things we can actually be doing from home. So, some of my clients, for example, are looking at either having the whole workforce work from home,
Yep.
or they're in fact dividing and conquering and saying, right, we want half of you guys to work from home. So if the other half go down, we've at least got half of our team who
Yep.
can continue to operate. So, but clearly, if we're working in a public kind of environment that does get closed for a period of time, that can have all sorts of ramifications. Not every job can be done at home. So I guess it's just a time for employers and their teams to be working together to figure out, how can we keep things going to the extent that it's possible.
It's an impossible question to answer, I suppose, because every workplace, as you said, is different. But there's going to be a lot of people wondering, am I going to have to dip into my sick leave? Because, I'm not necessarily going to be sick, but I could be asked to actually take some time. Are you even able to answer that question in terms of what are people entitled to here?
Yeah, I think it's something that we're going to need to work through, and certainly if I was an employment lawyer, I might have a little bit more insight to, the kinds of decisions that have been made in the last week, for example. But on the surface of it, obviously if you do actually contract the illness and you need time out and you have a sick leave balance, well, that's the purpose of that. It is actually an illness. If we're required to work from home, that's just a relocation of work venue, if you like. So, in those circumstances, you would expect not to be actually leveraging your sick entitlement. If the business has to completely shut down, however, then I think there's a whole bunch of other
ramifications.
Yeah. So again, obviously it's not helpful, but it really does depend what type of industry, what type of business, what type of circumstances, surrounding why I can't actually be there today. Am I being asked to, or I am actually unwell?
Okay, well, let's move away from leave at the moment, and let's talk about the fact that people, like you said, are being asked in some instances to work from home. Now, if you're not set up for it, but suddenly find yourself in that situation, I suppose it could be a little bit difficult. What should we be thinking about if we are all of a sudden working from our own house?
Well, I think that the starting point is I'm sure employers, obviously will be mindful that they have a duty of care to provide a healthy and safe work environment.
Yep.
So that they require everyone to work from home. Step one is let's make sure we do whatever we can to make sure we do have the setup. And again, we don't all need to go running down to office work. But really
New setup.
think about,
Hooray!
That's right, it's my excuse. I'll bill my employer. No, I'm not sure you'll get away with that, so don't take that advice. But, again, try to be sensible about thinking through where could I work and how could I get into some kind of routine.
Yeah.
Because for many people, we've never actually, had to do that, and so being self-disciplined and focused, because it is still reasonable in those circumstances that the, employer expects you to deliver some level of productivity. So, how can you get into those kind of routines? But critically, how can you maintain communication and connection with the colleagues that you need to? Are we going to have every second day Skype meeting in the morning, or how are we actually going to continue to collaborate and get our jobs done?
All right, quick yes or no here, Karen. Should we dress up nicely to work from home?
Yes.
Okay. Should we make sure the TV is off?
Yes.
Okay. And should we put the kids in a cage in another room?
No.
Oh, okay, good. I just wanted to get the ground rules right, okay? I don't do a lot of working from home. That's important. Hey, it's going to be a very interesting couple of weeks, maybe even months for a lot of workers. So we thank you, Karen, for dealing with a couple of those initial questions we might have. It's going to be an evolving situation, so we may have more questions for you in future weeks. But for now, Karen, we'll catch you next Monday.
Thank you.